is why NHS as an international student? Why the NHS? Now, a lot of people might not understand this. The personal quest and desire for financial return, immediate financial return, will not allow you to look at job within the NHS. But if you're not quite strategic in terms of your approach, you will end up in a very, very difficult position, which is why, and why is it even more important now? Looking at the current situation around the new legislation, having organizations such as the NHS and civil service as your top list of place to seek employment cannot even be any more important now, because you are very limited by the options you have. Before, you have 24 months. Now it's now been reduced to 18 months, which I think it will be coming into effect in June. As a result, what does that mean for you? These actually, in effect, in essence, actually, what this is all about is you need to be very proactive and you need to act fast. And by acting fast, you need to take the radical steps now to be very ruthless with your career goals, to be also be very, very proactive in terms of how you challenge yourself, also be prepared to be very dynamic, and also to be honest with yourself in terms of the opportunities you have. So what are we going to be looking at? Looking at career opportunities in the NHS, 20 hours, 10 time opportunities, supporting statements, personal statements, NHS interview techniques, pathway to sponsorship in respect to the new legislations and opportunities. So, and then you will be hearing having first-hand testimonials as well. So to go into it, why NHS as an international student? When should you commence your application? So let us look at NHS in number. There are 704 fully functional hospitals in England. There are 1.5 million NHS workforce. Of those 1.5 million, I think about some 200,000 work within the capacity of ACAs thereabout. Some 40,000 plus are medical personnel in terms of like doctors, consultants, and the rest, broadly speaking, are people occupying various administrative functions and other managerial and clerical responsibility. So a lot of you that are here today, I suppose none of you here today are looking for clinical roles, because this webinar is not about clinical roles. This is more about, administrative functions within the NHS. So what does that actually mean for you that you are trying to get these clerical opportunities in the NHS? Where should you actually start from? You could also be part of that numbers. Yes, there is no question about it. There's numbers of challenges happening now, possibility of recruitment freeze, number of workforce reduction plan being put in place. And if you look at it today, nonetheless, you still have about 121,000 plus vacancies still available in the NHS. And I'm sure, we have over how many people in the group? Not everyone is here today. Some 34 people in the webinar today, new faces, some of you are already working in the NHS, some over 800 plus people in that group as well. So even if every one of you were to be employed by the NHS, there will still be enough vacancies left for every one of you. So what are the things you need to do to get yourself into the system, and how should you actually start making moves that will get you into the system at the right time? So why NHS as an international student? So this is a very serious question. I think cannot just be answered in a simplified manner. And a lot of people do not understand that the way the system is designed for you as an international student, they've designed it in such a way whereby some jobs, whether you want to accept it or not, are already reserved for, you know, the indigens, if I may use that word. And when I say indigens, in the sense of, they have a lot of workforce now. I think there are over 6 million plus, if the number is not exaggerated, uh, UK citizen that are on benefits of one kind or the other. And these benefits are benefit the government is looking to eliminate, whereby the government is now looking for a way to push these people into work through one strategy or the other to try and see if there's any job they can get them into. And some of those jobs that they need to push them into are the low paid, low skilled roles, which you, as an international student, the objective of the government is not for you to be competing in those roles. They want you to take on serious jobs that have meaningful contribution to the society, that have a direct net contribution in terms of tax intake. And these are some of the things they will be setting as a yardstick for people that will be going on various pathway to their indefinite leave to remain. People that are going in care, there will probably be 10 years restriction for them. People that will be going in areas of various important functional roles around, administrative roles, quite reputable positions, there will be probably that leeway for them to maintain the 5 years. And these are the kind of job they're trying as much as possible to position you guys for, and leave the low skilled, low paid job to their citizens so they can do that, at least to get them off the benefit. But what you see more time than often is because of the quest for sponsorship, and there's nothing wrong in it because, I suppose if I were in that position as well, my safety first in terms of my security, sponsorship security would be the most important. Whatever the job may be, that's a different question to be resolved in future. But what is happening now is they do not want you guys competing in those roles anymore. That's why the government is targeting those roles and trying as much as possible to push the indigenes into those roles and let you guys go on to do various important roles. So where should you be based on? Should you be based on your status as an international student? You have no reason to be seeking private employment, if I am being sincere with you. Your job or your sense of securing a reasonable position that will give you security for the long term is for you to be looking at roles within the public sector, either in civil service, and which NHS also falls under. You are a civil servant if you work in the NHS, or just all be NHS being categorized in a different way, seen as a unique entity itself. You should be finding yourself working in the public sector, not private sector. Even if you want to do your 20 hours, you're better off. Sorry, can you all make sure you are on mute? Please make sure you're on mute. Please make sure you're on mute. Kate, please switch off your camera as well. All right. So even if you were to find yourself to within your 20 hours restriction, you should actually be aiming to do that 20-hour restriction in job within the public sector because of opportunity to gain the necessary knowledge that will propel you into various opportunities along the line that will then give you sponsorship, because a lot of jobs you will see within the NHS and within civil service will give you the opportunity for career progression that is often limited within private sector. And unfortunately, because of the expectations of jobs within NHS in particular, they often prefer people that have background knowledge in how the service function. And if you're not someone that has been in the service for long, it can be very difficult in some circumstances having a breakthrough into the system, because some of the roles might have certain requirement that you probably not have the basic knowledge of. And if you don't have the right person to guide you, support you, and coach you on the delivery of those answers, you might find it quite unattainable to get into that system. And when should you actually be there? You should be there as early as possible, particularly making sure that either before you leave Nigeria or when you arrive in UK, you should be knocking on the doors of those roles immediately to say to them, I want to get in here. And what are the things you need to get in there? Are you securing a bank shift? Are you getting yourself a part-time role, or are you going on to get yourself any job per se, if there is an agency job that could get you into there, just to give you an opportunity to have an understanding of how the system function. And there are numbers of things you can actually do as well. There are numbers of things. So for instance, if you're working in that 20 hours, there are numbers of training you will have access to, particularly if you're looking at it from the angle of NHS. Once you work with NHS, either part-time, full-time, or whatever position, there are numbers of trainings you will have access to which are exclusive to all those with NHS email accounts. And those training are things that are already designed to allow you to go on to attain roles such as your band 4, band 5, band 6 with ease and convenience. And if you know how to sort of make use and take advantage of all these opportunity, you will find yourself making waves and seeing yourself attaining positions that are probably once in the past unimaginable. And I've known people that have been in band 4, band 5, particularly band 4 roles, and within about 7 months, following proper guidance and support again, they started interviewing for band 6 and band 7 position. And those are the things that are very much possible to you unless you know about it. So you should go about it by being strategic, making sure that your aim is not limited to, oh, I'm going to go do care just to support myself. How do I get myself into the NHS as soon as possible? Be strategic about it. You are gaming the system whilst you're also contributing. You actually, by going in there immediately, yes, I'm going into the NHS now. I'm going to go get myself a 20 hours job. And that 20 hours job I'm getting is something I will do 5 months before my graduation. I'll start looking at things around, how do I start applying for fours and five that would then give me opportunity for sponsorship? Where should I actually be targeting? What do I do? So those are the steps you need to be taking. So when should you actually commence your NHS job application? For those of you, now we've answered the questions around whether it should be in the private or public sector. So those of you that will have that question about when should you commence, ideally you should actually even have started applying before you leave Nigeria. But we assume all things, it is what it is. You've left Nigeria, you're in this country now. What next? And I still see people making the same mistake. You've left Nigeria, you're in the UK, you're an international student, whether you're a dependent of an international student, and you're still making the same mistake. Applications is not being commenced. You're waiting until you graduate. You graduated, you still hold on to your post-study visa. You're looking at your visa running out. You're not making any effort to even apply for any job. And then you start realizing that some of the jobs you're applying to in the private sector, whether some of you that are hunting the job of BA, project manager, because you've done one or two trainings and you focus solely on roles outside of NHS, thinking, okay, yes, I'll go on to do a BA course, I'll go on to do this, I'll go on to do another project management course. And when I'm ready, I'll start applying for those roles. Then I will be able to get my sponsorship. Well, it might be true for some people, but always be prepared that might not also be your reality, which is why you need to always have a backup plan. And by having a backup plan, you need to have a strategy for success. And the strategy for success is about making sure that you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. You're quite very, very diverse in terms of your approach to seeking job opportunity. And if you then sit down and analyze the situation, you know this particular organization that have a clear pathway for you for career progression. If you think about it now, as much as things are difficult, particularly in the NHS, if some of the things that are going on in the private sector right now is clear, they're not waiting to make redundancy, they're making decision immediately. In NHS, there are processes that needs to go, each individual hospitals needs to go through. You can see the way they are treating people that are working with NHS England. This is not an immediate steps being taken. So there is an immediate process in place. There is a process in place, even though if a redundancy were to happen, there is a process that still needs to be followed, and there's level of support that still needs to be provided in that area. So what do? You identify career progression opportunities 5 months before graduating. Make sure that you need to have a plan, and by drawing up a plan you can draw up your pathway to success. And this is some of the things that really, really bothers me when I speak to people. Okay, so you've graduated, what are you looking at until this time you've let your visa start counting? And then when I decide to say to someone that, oh, I'm sorry, the time you have left on your visa is outside of the requirement or prerequisite for me to work with you, it then sounds as though, I'm quite very tough and difficult to work with. But it's not the case. It's because I know what actually is going on in the system. And if you actually think about it now, some of you that have been in the group for a long time will know. In the past, I could easily post about 30 jobs, new jobs that have just been recently advertised. Post it in the past in a single day. However, now you will actually even struggle to see 10 jobs being advertised. 10 new jobs being advertised. What in the past will take me 1 or 2 days, some people will tell you about their experience with me. What will take me 1 or 2 days in the past to get 60 jobs applications up and running for someone is probably taking almost 3 weeks now to even see enough application to get onto a track system for a single person. So it then makes it difficult now to even provide support at the same time for multiple people. So it has to be, I have to be strategic just as you are. So these are the kind of things that is happening in the economy right now, and it's not going to get any better anytime soon. So how do you, because now what actually that means is you're competing intensely for job with different numbers of people with different experience and different background. And I'll tell you a very difficult stat. For every single job there are right now, there are 145 qualified graduates for it. And this stat is not made up. It's not a made up stat because even if you reflect on your own academic background, look at your school, for example. How many people graduated from your class? How many people came out with distinction? How many people actually are still out there hunting for job? How many people are working in warehouse, are working in customer care, are working in care or all those areas that you yourself know that come tomorrow you will be competing with them for jobs? And I'm sure many people can tell you their experience. They've been into interview where they've seen fellow Nigerians come out together. The outcome is not any different. So you need to get yourself ready for the future. And getting yourself ready is about having a mapped out plan that will get you there. So now, if you think about the changes now, you're now very much limited. 18 months, number one, for you to secure a sponsorship, the best grace you have now is if you can find a manager that will be happy to sponsor you under the new entrance pathway of 30,960. If that is not an option for you, if the job is not on the shortage occupation list and the 30,960 is not an option, then you're limited to what? The job of the 38,700, which, as you know, is a band 6 in London, because band 6 in London start from 40,000 plus, or a band 7 outside of London, which start about 45 thereabout, for you to be able to secure the 38,700. And if you're not able to do that, most definitely you have to go down the path of PhD or something else to secure a sponsorship. And I'm sure a lot of you now have been hearing stories around care related role. And I'm sure a lot of you, even if you've had experience of doing it, you're tired of doing it and you want something more meaningful for yourself. So, let me see. I think Shay should be here. Let me just bear with me. Let me try and see if Shay is here. Just so I can bring Shay in. Okay, so she will be joining us later on. She will be joining us later on. So, right. So let me continue. Right. So what are we looking at now? We will be looking at things around your NHS. Um, so just before I go forward, does anyone have any comment or any question you would like to have here? We will still have the Q&A, but I just thought I would give anyone an opportunity to come forward to ask any question. Okay, that's fine. Uh, Okay, just bear with me a second. I'm not sure if I've seen Babatunde Balogun here. Um, Good afternoon, Babatunde. Babatunde, good afternoon. Sorry, just give me a second.
Hello, good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon, good afternoon. How
Good
are you?
afternoon.
How are you?
Sorry, the network that
Nice.
is
It's
saying
fine.
I'm
It's
fine.
fine. That's fine. All right. So
Give me like 30 seconds. Give me like 30 seconds, please.
no problem.
30
No
seconds.
problem. No
Let me
problem.
give you.
Right. So Babatunde Balogun will probably join us instead. Whilst I'll reserve the other for Shay. So Babatunde Balogun, we just talk through his experience. So before I go into the part two session of the webinar, let me just talk you through. Let me share my screen again.
Hello?
So good
Yeah, sorry,
afternoon.
it's
Good
not that
afternoon.
Good
Nah,
afternoon.
that's fine. So I'm not sure. A lot of you would have seen Babatunde Balogun testimony in the group. If you also visit the website, you will see his testimonials in there. This is a very, very classical experience of many. Sorry, let me put him on mute for now. So this is a classical experience of a lot of international students. A lot of you would have been on this same journey. You would have seen situations where you've tried your best to secure a job, you've gone to interviews, you've done all your best, and the success story is still not forthcoming. The experience is still the same, it's still rather unfortunate, and you probably think you've done all your best, and you just think the UK market is not job market is not for you, or you're not destined to work in the UK, but it's not the case. And I'll let him speak to you to share his experience so you can get to hear what actually his journey actually meant for him, what he actually encountered, and how he's actually finding life in the NHS now as a senior administrator. To the participation, involvement, and experience team. And we have a very, very great deal of, interesting time through this journey. It was a very, very difficult one, but I think what's most important to me is that the success we have today is something that we need to celebrate. So, Babatunde, please take the floor.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Saeed. I'm so honored to be here today to discuss about my success journey. My name is Babatunde. I study MSc International, Masters in International Business with Advanced Practice from Ulster University. So my journey was so very rough at the initial stage. I started applying myself. I apply with all my skills that I needed to do. But when you don't have a good information at hand, you just be rounding in a circle without any success. I apply like 60 applications. I do a 60 application for some ways, which unfortunate. Even before I send the application, it will bounce back to be an opportunity situation to me. So I begin to wonder, what am I not doing well? But when you lack information on how to do things, then that person will not be going anywhere until a friend just introduced me to this platform. And after that, the rest is the story. I had to call Said one-on-one to have a discussion, how can it help? And he opened my eyes to so many things that I have not been doing. I've not been doing well. And without such information, believe you me, any application you make, it will just be bouncing back. So having said that, discuss with Said, I made me to understand that there are so many things that I'm not doing well. There are so many things he needed to introduce to me, and I make such application with him. I decided to do a full application of processing, help me to set up the NHS application platform, help me to set it up, apply, and even I even went further to do one-on-one training. And the training really helped because there are so many ways you needed to, answer questions when you are being asked for interview. It makes within 3 4 days, about 60 applications have been made by him, and within 1 week, believe me, I've started receiving interviews upon interview. Within a week, I will have like 2 3 interviews. And when it comes to um, doing a mock for the interview, pre-interview, in fact, I can tell you point blank that I'm below 50% in my mock interview. The way I'm going to talk, approach questions, I'm not there at all. So I've gone there myself without any pre-interview training. Uh, this is not what I'll be saying. And he took his time. We are there together. He gave me what I needed to know, the feedback that I needed to know that I'm not doing well. If I go into any interview like this, I'm not going to have what I needed to get. We started the training, a week training, and based on my own personal training as well. I encourage my even my family to ask me questions. That's how I brought myself so low. My children would ask me questions. My wife do a lot of things in my face so that I will be able to have boldness to face the crowd. Even that is another setback for me. For me to discuss, to talk in a gathering is another issue. But because I've been encouraged, I don't have the fear to face crowd anymore. I talked what I want to say from my heart. More so that even before the interview, there are some series of questions that you have gotten that these are the questions is going to that is probably they are going to ask. And before any question, like 10 questions, at least 8 questions out of what we have discussed with Said will have been asked. They are now left for you to be able to discuss and talk with boldness. All those things really helped me a lot. In fact, my first interview was a success story. My first interview was a success story, though I was not called until after 2 months. That's how God do my own success story. I was not called until after 2 months. And when I was finally called, they apologized. Though, am I still available to come and take this role? It's like they were even begging me that they were so sorry they supposed to have called me, but it wasn't within their making, but they are just coming out. And I told them, well, I very much interested. And within that 1 week that I told them, everything has been prepared for me to join them. Within 1 week, because they really saw my impact during the interview, the way my application was set up on NHS platform, and they really loved it. And before that 2 months, I've done about 6 interviews. That if I continue even with the application he has done, they will always call me for interview. Out of 7 or 8 applications, about 6 people will call me for interview. So I will employ you people. I'm coming here to share my success story so that you will be able to tap in with what he has to offer. Because we will be the person that will gain at the end of the day. We have more to say. Like now, Band 4 is not an easy task, and I can even leave where I'm going, where I'm working now presently in the next few months and join because I have gotten an experience and join another NHS, which is very peculiar. Experience is very key, but before you have the experience, what are you going to do? One has to make sacrifice. I made sacrifice of my time. I made sacrifice with finance. I made sacrifice with me trying to know the information I didn't have. I want to know. Information is power. Try to get information from side. Every bit of what he's saying today on this webinar is the key. Is very important. Hold it and work towards it. And I believe the sky will be the limit. So at the end of the day, I've started my work. I've spent like 2 months and I'm enjoying my work anyway. And the sky is the limit. I can progress from there to get a better one. Right? Keep on the good work and be open. I know you are open to me. The way you will handle me, my situation, and I promise that I'm going to make it. I said you should not be relent, you should not relent on me because at the time uh, I knew I wasn't performing well. But I said don't relent, I will make it. And you didn't relent, you keep up doing the good thing, you keep on encouraging me, and I say thank you for that. Now I'm enjoying myself, I'm enjoying the work, and I'm new in the next couple of months. I'll be able to apply for a better role, and I know the success story will still come. Thank you so much. Everybody, please, uh, this is a platform for you to give. Just try to do the right thing. Try to have your time to schedule a one-on-one meeting with him, a time for you to self-study, because those are the things that encouraged me. Those are the things I did that I was able to be where I am today. Thank you, everybody. This is just a small um, success story from my side. Thank you. May God bless everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, Babatunde. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Definitely, what an honor, is someone that, I'm very proud of. Even I cannot, the day you called me to inform me about being offered the role, the level of delight, alignment I received that day. I felt a great deal amount of joy, as he probably felt as well. And I knew that was the beginning of a very, very beautiful story. And I can say now, some of the things in place now is, mapping out the pathway for the sponsorship, mapping out the pathway for sponsorship and what are the next things we need to do. And you know, being part of NHS now, as he is now a case for him to go on to do whatever he wants to do. Definitely, he has a very good job. He's definitely not working in care. He's working in administrative function. He's well prepared now to take on any senior managerial roles when he's ready. And whatever I decide to do, I can say clearly, I will not be surprised if, as I am speaking to you today, within the next 6 months, if it's band 6 or band 7, or therefore within the next 12 months, if it's band 8 and above, the sky is just even the beginning. So there's nothing that is difficult for him to attain now. And this is someone that, if you think about it, like everyone in this group, he was formerly an international student. Is It was restricted to 20 hours. He's finished his degree and it was literally staring at impossibilities, particularly in securing job and getting on to secure roles within the NHS, knowing fully well he's doing a role that he's proud to talk about. He sees it as a continuity of his career, and he also sees it as a role that also have a pathway for career progression for him. It's something that we are trying to drive forward here, which is why care roles are not often discussed or not discussed at all on this platform. This is about trying to see how you guys can develop yourself to have something tangible to gain out of your investment. I'm sure Babatunde is still here. If you want to ask him, he's probably happy to give us about 5 minutes or so. Does anyone have any questions or anything you would like to hear from him or learn from him? Does anyone have any question? Does anyone have any question for him? Okay. Um, there's an
Hello.
opportunity. Sorry, we're speaking by the way.
All right. My name is Michael. I'm
Michael,
calling from
hi.
Sheffield.
Hi,
Yeah.
Michael.
So I would like to ask Mr. Babatunde, did he kind of like get maybe a background experience from Nigeria before he was able to move into that role, or he was just really advancing to a new role entirely?
Sorry, can you repeat the question, Michael?
So the question I was asking him is like, did he have like a background experience in the field he's currently on right now in the NHS, or it was just a new path for him entirely?
Okay. Babatunde.
Hello? Yeah, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. Sorry, I think Michael have a
Hello?
question. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm with
Hello.
you.
Yeah. Michael is trying
I'm
to
with you. I
find
can hear
out.
you.
Michael is trying to find out if you have an experience in Nigeria or this is just a new thing for you entirely. Am I right, Michael?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, I have a vital knowledge of administrative roles. Well, when I was in Nigeria, I worked with, I'm a manager to one organization that are into telecommunication, North. where I manage people administratively and network performance. Secondly, I have my own company that I run as a project person.